Hello, Madame Veronique. You're early.
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. And you?
I'm fine, I'm fine.
Sorry, are you recording? Is everything going to be recorded from now on?
Yes.
So give me a second then.
I'm putting myself off camera as well.
Can you hear me? I'm just going to grab a glass of water.
Speak again. Your your voice was slightly muffled. Oh, you've put lipstick on.
Yes.
Maybe I should go and do mine as well.
I hope you will cut this conversation from the
Can't
recording.
cut it out, don't worry. I don't want to stop it though, because by the time it probably happened, I'll forget. So anyway,
I'm
and
just
I
going
need
to
to
get
think my
a glass
name.
of water to have it close to me. And
Yeah.
then
I was trying to find my
I had sent an email to a text to Gabby and she got everything. So thank you.
Oh, okay, good. Is anybody going to be sharing slides?
Yes.
Okay, so we will make everybody co-host. I don't want to allow anybody in for the call except our panelists, and we will open up about 4 minutes before.
Yes. Yeah,
So
yeah.
we can at least do a trial and check that
Yeah,
it's
the idea is that we 3:55, that's when we open to the public, not before. And I've told,
exactly. I've made you a co-host,
okay.
so if you want to share as well, you can see that.
No, I'm not sharing anything, but
Who joined us? Hi,
is that Gabby? Oh no,
Alejandra.
Alejandro, sorry.
Hi, Alejandra. How are you doing?
Good and you?
You
Fine, I'm
look very
fine.
summery. Is it warm in Florida?
Yes.
I'm
Hello.
wearing two jerseys on top of each other.
I've got 3 jumpers.
I've let my
I
hair down to
know.
cover up one of the jerseys so I don't look so wintry.
Let me get a glass of water.
I don't want to brag about the temperature here because that would be very unconsiderate and of me. But yeah, it's it's normally warm here all year round, so yeah.
Yeah, well, it's a temperate climate, isn't it? So it would be similar to what we have. I'm from Malta, and I mean, it's about 22, 23 there, which is summertime for the UK. But there you go.
Yeah.
It is recording, but don't worry, we will cut this off. It's just it starts recording when I start it. But I actually I'm going to make you co-host. Are you going to be
Okay.
sharing anything?
No, I don't have any presentations ready because I really want to be very brief. I just have like a summary of what we do, what Select Florida does. I
Excellent.
want to obviously let them know that there's an office
Mhm.
in London
Yeah.
for them
Well, I'm
to also
going to
reach out.
talk first. So, do you have Florida, an office in London?
We do.
Oh, excellent. Okay. Where is
Actually,
that?
let me see. I don't have the address, but we do have one. Just let me see if I can
Is
because I
that
have
your
a
office or is it it's South Florida?
my office. I'm based in Miami.
Oh, brilliant. Brilliant.
Yes. Let
But
me.
if you visit your London offices, we obviously need to organize something so we can all meet up.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I'm trying to look to
Absolutely,
change.
exactly.
How is the lighting on me? Because I've been playing around. Is that good lighting or?
Yeah, you have good lighting. I
Yeah.
usually
Yeah, okay.
do
Because I had
yeah.
one above me, but it didn't look nice. So
I have one on the side, which sort of makes me feel
yeah, I
like
just put up
under
like a little
investigation.
lamp because it's going to get dark by the time we finish the webinar.
Yeah.
So
And it's not a very nice day, it's very grey. This is what we go through here, you see. We have to cover up the lack of sunshine and
I know.
and add artificial light.
No, I was looking, but I can't to change my background. I just background to just do.
That's what I don't have the OWIT one. Let's see.
I couldn't find one I had done for OWID before. It's the
Oh,
one.
add image. Okay, here and then because I have some from Select Florida that look a little better than.
Where's my background? Let's see. Video.
Okay. Hi, Sarah.
Yeah,
Hi, how
Here we
are
go.
you?
Good
Hello.
afternoon or good morning, and it is a pleasure to actually meet you both online because I haven't met you before. So welcome to our call.
Thank you very much.
Excellent.
Hi,
Excellent.
Sarah. Nice to see you again.
Hi, Veronique. How are you?
Good. How is your trip?
It was great. It was good. Yeah. I actually ended up canceling California, so I'm actually calling in from London.
Oh, okay.
Are you
Great.
in London?
Yes,
Yeah, I'm based in London.
we say we would
Oh,
meet up after the webinar.
yes.
We
To
organize
be
a drink.
honest, it's just a bit mad for me this week because I'm on a project deadline.
Oh, not this week, Noreen.
Not this week.
After.
Okay, I can't do anything else this week. I'm
No, Sarah was
completely-
supposed to be on the West Coast, right?
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
supposed to be in California this week, but I ended up canceling the trip. So I'm
Ah.
here in England at the moment. at
Perfect. So how long are you here for?
I live here. I live in London.
Okay, definitely then we'll have to do a drink. A glass
Yeah.
of wine on a nice evening sounds good to me.
That sounds great.
Exactly. Exactly.
Oh, I'm jealous
Sarah,
now.
do you have any slide you're going to present? Do we need to do a test before you present, or
Sure.
you just going to
You
talk?
all have co-host rights. Don't worry if you see people coming into the waiting room. I don't want them to. Oh, I hope they don't just join automatically. Hopefully we'll get them online more towards the hour.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. Can you put it on present? Yeah, perfect.
That looks nice.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, this looks very good. Very nice.
Okay. Yep, it works.
Yeah.
It works and you sound very well as well. I want to
Fantastic.
do before when Gabby comes in. That's going to be us, right? I want to get a group picture.
Okay.
So
Yes,
that's
I mean, Gabby told me she had the link. You know what? I'm going to tell her we are on the link.
Yes, apologies about the mix up on the link. We should have sent out the panelist link before, but anyway, all sorted.
So where are you based in London? Are you in London then?
I am in London. I'm actually
Which-
based in Pimlico, and Veronique is in.
Oh,
Yes, so we're all both central London. Veronique is Hammersmith borders with, how do you describe it, Veronique?
Oh, well, depending who I talk to, I can say Holland Park to sound posh, or Hammersmith, the west. It's west, and let's say Hammersmith.
And where are you based, Sarah?
I am currently in Bow, but I lived in Pimlico when I kind of first moved here. Actually, when I first moved here, I was
Oh,
more
that is so
east.
funny. Where
But then
were
I
you
was
in
in
Pimlico?
Pimlico, on Belgrave.
Oh, right. Well,
Wow.
I'm one street behind that because I'm in the Morton Triangle.
Oh, you're
If
right
you-
behind Belgrave.
Yes, one street behind Belgrave.
Right, like you come down the station road.
Yeah.
How long have you been living there?
Oh, since 2005.
We were neighbors.
I know, we never knew each other.
I was at 33 Belgrade.
Oh gosh, that's amazing.
And I nearly bought a flat next to Noreen.
Hi
Yes,
everyone.
so crazy.
Hi,
Gabby.
Good morning, Gabby.
Morning.
Good to see you online. How
Good,
are you doing?
Good. I just wanted to check in, make sure everything's working.
Yes.
Yeah.
Are you going to be sharing any slides? I'm just made you
No.
Okay.
Perfect.
You're all co-hosts. If you see anybody coming in, don't worry about that. It's a
Okay.
webinar setting, so it
Yeah.
will just be us. And actually, if you all want to give me your best smiles, get your lipsticks done, we're going to take a group picture.
Okay, well, let me just 1 second. I have to finish.
So you're getting ready for the
Yeah,
big
Yeah,
we're
I
getting
need-
ready.
I need
Oh
just
my God.
because I have to move from where I
Yes,
am.
you're walking, so you need to stop
Okay,
walking.
I'm
for the
gonna
picture.
I'm gonna put the
Okay,
I'll be back.
guys. Okay, we'll take a picture when she's back. Keep the
Okay.
lipstick.
Keep fluffing. This is what
Keep
you this is what you
fluffing.
get when you get ladies in a room. I mean, we are so powerful,
Yeah,
but we take
yeah.
much better photos than men as well. 'Cause we actually take some time to
Because we care about our image.
yeah.
Uh,
Oh, okay. Is that I was with the other camera. Is this one better or the other
Yes,
one better?
this one you like facing the camera, so it's good. Looks like you're looking into us.
Yeah, because the other one was the camera from the laptop, which is in the middle. Here is the on top of my
Okay.
screen. Yeah. Okay. I
So I've
just
got the one in the middle. I'm looking at my laptop as well.
unless
So-
well the other one has better lighting. Hold on.
I was
Now
gonna
that
say, Alejandra, do you have like a ring light or do you have something that because your face is it's not bad, it's just
It's a bit darker.
shadowed, but yeah.
now I know how to sit. Is that I was looking at the screen.
it's so
Sorry, guys.
bizarre, isn't it? It is, right. I need to just check. Are you Alejandra? How do you prefer to be addressed?
Alejandra, that's my name, but I go by Ale. It's
Ali.
yeah.
But introduce you by your formal name, though. I think
Okay.
that's something. Well, Veronica's doing the introductions anyway.
Yes.
So she's our moderator on the call. I will just give
Probably going to say Alejandra.
Alejandra.
That's beautiful. Absolutely. Perfect.
Sounds absolutely beautiful, actually, isn't it?
Oh, I
like
went to
it.
school in Bath. I did my master's in Bath, and I used to go to London, well, probably once a
So
month or
you
so.
all have a London tie where you're all welcome to
Yes.
come and visit whenever you like. We will entertain you.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I love London.
Sounds a bit heavy, but let's say we'll take it as it comes.
I will go probably in August or something. July.
Oh, mind you, I'd probably be in Malta in August. I tend to go
The
to
summer
warmer
months.
climes. Yes, it's just nice to actually get some sun. I tend to start getting depressed when I don't have a lot of sun.
Nuri, do
Sorry.
you want to tell us? So we got about 35, 40 people on the call registered. Hopefully they all turn up.
Yes. And they seem to be, sorry, I haven't downloaded the list yet. They're coming from both sides. I've actually shared it again in the OIT president's side. So if there's anybody else who wants to sort of is there and can dial in, they can dial in, which would,
Yeah. And I shared it with my team as well at work. If they had any client interested in international trade,
Yeah.
But should be good. Yeah.
Good.
How many people registered, just out of curiosity?
There's 32 at the moment. I think that a lot of people were a bit hesitant, thinking what's going to happen with the US here. It's funny because I was expecting a bit more to dial in, but I'm not worried too much because we will be sharing that. Lucia is already here. We have somebody who's
Who's
on
Lucia? She's a
so we're
delegate.
she's one of our, so they're coming in. I think they will just come in automatically, so we don't know that, but that's fine. Hi, Lucia, we see you. We see your name there. Welcome to our call. We'll be kicking off exactly on the hour, so if you want to go and get your coffee and tea, please feel free to do so. The chat video, yes, audio and video is disabled, and the chat box, because I think we may end up with too much to handle otherwise. So we'll take queries coming from the Q&A.
Q&A, so that's the instruction I'll give, yeah. And we
But
won't
it's
be, and we
set
don't see
up.
the faces of people.
No, we're not going to be seeing them.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's better like that because we're recording it so that we can share it again. Otherwise, I have people cropping in and out and changing slides. It gets to be messy, to be honest, because nobody will dial in exactly on the hour. They'll start coming in a few minutes after. And it's the trickle effect. You will hear it go bing boing, bing
Ding
boing.
dong, ding dong, ding dong.
but it will happen. So there we
I mean,
go.
I had allowed for 5 minutes, for people to join between 4 and 5 and 4 if we want to.
Yeah. I am just going to. So when Gabby comes online, we'll just get our picture taken,
Okay.
and that would be cool. And I'm just thinking, yes, I've got my water near me.
Sorry,
No,
didn't
no.
have time to put on makeup, but
You do. You've got 3 minutes.
Oh.
You can go off camera if you want. I'm a hard taskmaster. Sorry.
Someone gave me this mirror and it's so useful, especially when I'm running around.
I can say there's a question in the Q&A. Someone has
Yes,
put.
that's the one which came from Lucia. Is there another one?
No. Oh, no.
I should say answered live.
My
No,
audio and
done.
video is disabled. Okay.
It's
no.
answered.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
Gosh, I
Noreen, you can. Okay, we got 6 participants.
I'm deleting it. Lucia, I'm deleting your message. Don't worry. Add there. So,
Okay.
and I can advise that people are, I will put that in as, unless you want to say, Veronique, that the chat is disabled and we will accept comments through the Q&A.
I'll say it.
Yes,
So
please.
put your question in the Q&A. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. There. And I'll say as well question at the end. So we go through the webinar and then we'll answer the
Exactly.
question at the end.
Yes.
So I've got a quick introduction, kind of
Mhm.
introducing myself, the webinar, got 2 statistics on UK Florida trade. Then I'll introduce you, Noreen, so you can talk about wheat, why we're doing this webinar, and you got your introduction. After that, I'll introduce Alejandra.
Okay.
And then after that, I'll introduce Gabby for the kind of legal MOU perspective. And then once Gabby has finished, obviously I'll thank Gabby, and then I'll hand over to you, Sarah. I'll give you your job title and company name, and I'll say you bring in the business perspective, the business and the people perspective to this international trade relationship. Over to you, and then when you finish, just say something so we know it's finished, and then I'll open up for question, or I'll do some kind of summary or feedback what we heard, and then open up the Q&A.
That's
Right. I could do like a caw when I'm finished. I can make it like really clear. I can make
Make a sound, make a signal.
Okay,
Dun,
that sounds
dun,
very
dun, dun.
interesting.
We'll
If
be
you
all in
want
the voice.
if you want to dance, you're very welcome. And
When
we're
the
not
voice
doing
drops, I
Got
know you're
Talent,
finished.
but we have people who are joining us as well now, so that is great.
Also, they join automatically then.
Yeah, they will just come in and join.
Ah.
We're giving you a 2 minutes notice. You will need to be on camera at least a minute before, please. And we will be starting shortly. For those of you who are joining us, you won't be able to chat with us, but you can put your comments in the Q&A. And you will be off camera at the moment.
Always just a few minutes before we kickstart a webinar. It's always like silence.
It's nervous a bit, yeah.
Oh,
Right.
can you my coffee mug?
It's Colombia.
Colombian, not Colombia. I like that.
Well, I've got a nice cup, showing
Oh,
nice south of
Palm
France.
trees.
I know,
Yeah.
I'm not in Florida.
Right. Gabby, we are a minute away from starting. May I ask you to please come on screen? I'm worried. We're not getting much notice.
One
Maybe
second,
it's-
I'm trying to log in. 1 second.
Thank you. That's fine. We'll wait for you. We won't kick off before.
Yeah, we can give it 1 more minute. Can you see the number of participants in the room?
But they're still coming in. We don't have a lot at the moment.
Okay. That's why, maybe I'll wait 1 minute.
Yes, yes. Thank you, Gabby.
Yeah.
Shall we grab a screenshot now before we
Sure.
all
Yeah.
kick off? A nice big smile. Thank you. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Thank you. And I shall
you.
see that came. Right.
So welcome everybody who's joining us. The way the webinar is set up, we can't see you, but we know you're joining, so welcome. Make yourself comfortable, grab a cup of tea, coffee, or whatever you like to drink at this time of the day or night, because we know there are people from various parts of the country and America as well joining us. So choose the best drink for you to stay alert and be able to ask your question at the end of the webinar. So I've got 4 o'clock. Let's wait 1 minute, Noreen, to allow for.
Yes, people are coming in. We can start shortly. I think. Yeah, we'll just wait a few more seconds.
Yeah. So while people are joining, I give some kind of house, what's called house rules. House rules, yes. If you can put your question in the Q&A, we will ask all the question towards the end once we've gone into the conversation with our speakers. So thank you for that. Welcome. Make yourself comfortable, and we're going to start in a few seconds. We'll kick off officially this webinar. So waste a few minutes to allow for the last minute registration coming in. Noreen, if you want to give me kind of the go ahead, then I'll officially open the
A few more
webinar.
seconds. We'll just give them literally till 16:02 and then kick off. And we're officially there. Let's kick off. So over
Yep.
to you.
Okay, good afternoon, good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us in this OWIT UK and OWIT Florida webinar on UK-Florida International Trade Corridor. My name is Veronique Rapetti. I'm a VP of OWIT UK, and I'm calling in from London today. We are delighted to welcome you all. And so I will be the host for this webinar. Just a few tips and information. If you can put your question in the Q&A, we will answer them at the end of the panel. We are not able to see your lovely faces, but we hope you are settling and ready for this interactive conversation. Before we kick start with Noreen, who's our president, I've got a couple of facts for you. Did you know that the UK is the top foreign investor in Florida, with UK company employing over 67,000 Floridians and contributing greatly to the local economy? I think, it's quite an impressive number. And on the other side, Florida is exporting over 5 billion worth of goods and services to the UK annually. So I guess these numbers show the importance of this international trade corridor between the UK and Florida, and it helps strengthen the economic growth of the two regions and as well the cultural and social ties between this region. So let's delve into this opportunity that this trade corridor offers, the challenges, partnership organization that support that, and the legal framework that has been set up to allow for this trade corridor to happen. So let me introduce you first to Noreen, President of OWIT UK.
Thank you very much, Veronique, and thank you for laying out those facts and figures. I hadn't realized just how much trade we have flowing between here and the wonderful state of Florida. I think this is an open invitation for us to go there and for them to come here as well. We can share your oranges, your lovely sunshine, and you can share our rain. But sorry, we can't offer you much more at the moment. So my name is Noreen Barros Cesario, and as Veronique said, I am the president of OIT UK. I'm also the executive vice president internationally, supporting our president, Julia Kurt. And I also run a strategic research and marketing consultancy called Market Accents, which actually looks at international markets to break into. So this is a very timely event on all counts for me. I'm going to tell you something about OIT for those of you that are on the call and may not really know much about it. So OIT is the Organization of Women in International Trade. We're a global network dedicated to advancing women's roles in international business and trade. We've got chapters across the world, and in fact, that is why we are having this call today with OIT South Florida. And we provide a dynamic platform for professional growth, knowledge sharing, and global connections. We're trying to facilitate that trade flow to go, hence our trade connections. At OIT UK, we are driven by 3 pillars. We've got trade digitalization, which is very important for the facilitation of trade, trade finance, which obviously underlies all our trades and negotiations, and trade facilitation, including upskilling ourselves, looking at ways to actually make the facilitation flow better, and forging new connections. Our mission is to create opportunities for women to thrive in international markets. And we want to ensure that our voices, because we're all entrepreneurs and women, as women businesses are present and heard in shaping the future of trade. Today's event falls firmly within our pillars as we seek to foster closer and more meaningful relationships with our trading sisters and colleagues in South Florida. This is the second session in our International Trade Corridors series. We started last year, late last year. Our first one was with OIT Nigeria, and it was brilliant. It showed us the appetite there is for women business leaders to learn more, to upskill, and to seek ways to enter new markets. In our series, which will carry on during this coming year, we'll be speaking to more chapters and bringing more countries closer to us. We bring together women business leaders that are participating in that particular market. We bring the policymakers, we bring the trade professionals, and I'm pleased to say we have a really fantastic lineup for you this afternoon or morning, depending where you are. We aim to explore and strengthen the pathways that facilitate the cross-border commerce. So these events are the bridge between the markets. They're giving us the insights that we need to actually look at them for markets for growth. We need to understand the regulatory landscapes we're operating in and also consider the strategic partnerships that will drive more international success. And it is with the strength of the OIT International Global Network that as members, we gain access to this wealth of knowledge and expertise. Whether you are an entrepreneur looking to expand globally, be a corporate leader navigating international trade, or a professional seeking career growth, OIT is your supportive ecosystem to help you succeed. That's enough from me. We are here to learn more about the about the UK and South Florida opportunities. So I thank you for your time that you're going to be sharing with us over this next hour and a half. And I'm passing it back to our trading professionals to please share your insights. Thank you, Veronique.
Thank you, Noreen. And I want to introduce now Alejandra from Select Florida. And Alejandra, I want to take her publicly as well, because you play a critical role today in helping us bringing this amazing speaker with us, in Sarah and Gabby. And you are as well, so part of OIT UK and Select Florida. So tell us a bit more about your role as the Director of International Trade and Development at Select Florida and VP for OIT Florida.
Thank you, Noreen and Veronique, for inviting us to partake of this event. Very, very excited. Good afternoon, good morning. Like I said before, my name is Alejandra Henao. I'm a Director for International Trade and Development for Latin America and the Caribbean with Select Florida. Select Florida is the state agency, official trade and investment promotion agency. And we help businesses just like the ones that are joining us today. We help them expand and export those Florida businesses and manufacturers and service providers that are looking to explore new markets, such as the UK market. We help them through different programs and services that we have in place for them, providing a very personalized assistance. And we also help foreign investors, UK investors that are interested in having a presence in Florida setting a footprint in Florida through different programs and incentives as well. I want to highlight that we have not only presence throughout the state, so we have different offices in Orlando, Jacksonville, Miami, Palm Beach, to be able to cover the entire state and be able to serve our companies in a more efficient way. But we also have an international office and representation in UK, in London. Being this office the main point of contact for those UK businesses that are interested in finding more or learning more about how to establish or invest in Florida. And also it's also a good starting point whenever a Florida company is looking to have a presence or to start exploring the UK market. Well, like, I don't want to add more to the OWIT part because it was already very well covered by Noreen. We are, along with the Tampa chapter, the only 2 chapters of OWIT that are in Florida. So very excited again to be part of this event today. And looking forward to learning more about your businesses, and I'm here to help. So please don't hesitate to reach out. I'll put my email in the chat box for everyone to have it. And if there's anything I can do here in Select Florida, please let me know. And thank you again.
Thank you, Alejandra. And we all know that organization like yours, support organization like Select Florida or even OWIT, are critical in the mission of supporting growth and international expansion. So thank you for joining us today. So now I turn my attention to our esteemed guest, Gabby. Thank you very much for accepting our invitation. Gabby, you are the UK Trade Director for Florida for the Department for Business and Trade. And you are here today to really help us understand, what's the framework that supports this international trade agreement between Florida and the UK through the MOU that was signed, I believe, last year. And so we are looking forward to hearing your perspective on the legal angle or regulatory angle, whatever you want to call it, but to really set the scene for how the trade is being facilitated. I'm going to use the word at a higher level as opposed to on the ground. Oh, you're on mute.
Thank you, ladies, for the invitation today. I'm very happy to join the webinar. I just have one question. Do you want me to go into the MOU, part now, or do you want a brief intro?
A brief intro would be good.
Okay, so as Veronique said, I am Trade Director for the UK covering Florida. So I sit in the UK consulate in Miami, and I am part of a larger organization called the Department of Business and Trade, which is the international arm of the Ministry of Trade of the UK. In the United States, we're about 160 officers because the US is obviously the UK's main trading partner, and we do have a special relationship going back a long time. So that team of 160 people are spread throughout the country in different regions, and I form part of the trade director group. We are 8. I cover Florida, but then there are others that cover, for example, New York area, East Coast, West Coast, in California, Chicago, Texas. I mean, we're sort of spread all over. And our teams, we handle trade officers. We manage, so for Florida, we have 8. And those trade officers are the ones that are divided by sectors, depending on the sectors we cover, which are, many. So that's how sort of we divide the work. When it comes to Florida, as Veronique said, the UK is the #1 FDI partner, so it's very important. I will revise a little bit the trade figures because we are now at 6.4 billion in trade balance, meaning roughly the equal coming, goods going from Florida to the UK and vice versa. So we're about even. In terms of jobs, the UK provides more than 70,000 jobs in the state. And for the UK, they're looking at the Florida's economy, which has been booming. Right now, if you were to place it in the world, sort of as a world economy, Florida ranks just above Spain and below South Korea. So we're talking about, a very important market for the UK. And right now, so in 2023, the UK and Florida signed an MOU. Now, what's curious about an MOU is that it's a non-legal binding document. So it really depends on the counterparts to bring it to action. So currently, the UK has 8 MOUs signed with different states in the country. And this was a route that the UK decided to do, in the absence of a free trade agreement, which is obviously the holy grail for the UK and the US. That's a document that is, has been in the works for a long time and will require a longer time because there's a lot of negotiations involved. So the UK decided to develop a strategy where they will be reaching out to different states, and based on, mutual interests, these MOUs sort of came about. For Florida, we have 3 pillars around our MOU, 3 sectors, which are the space sector, life sciences, and financial services, so these sectors were determined to be the most relevant for both sides. There's other sectors we work in, but those are the main 3. Now, as I said before, there is no legal binding commitment to the MOU. However, Florida has taken this document and really run with it. Our counterpart in the state is where Ale works at, the Select Florida. We mainly work with Secretary of Commerce Alex Kelly and his team. And I have to say, I have a lot of experience in my past regarding working with MOUs. I've never seen a counterpart so proactive as Florida. They have understood that what an MOU does is it sort of focus the dialogue, the trade dialogue, to what is important and what we want to sort of look at. It's all about return on investment, really. So we focus our energy on we think is going to really come back to us in terms of the time and the effort and the resources we put in. And, after November, we agreed that document binds us to hold 1 meeting every 6 months. And we just did our 2nd meeting in December, which was fantastic. We tried to do it in different cities across Florida. The first one was in Tallahassee, 2nd one in Jacksonville. We held it at the BAE System plant, which is a very big investment, UK investment in Jacksonville. And so, in those meetings, we basically map out the work ahead. Like we have a list of deliverables in the sectors. We have conversations of what we want to do. So we say what we want out of Florida, and basically they say what they want from the UK. And it's very helpful because if we didn't have this sort of agreement and conversations, it would be very difficult to sit down and map out priorities. The work would be slower, would be more spread out. Whereas we have sort of a concierge service directly with the commerce, department of the state. And it's like a direct line. So any doors we want to open in Florida, they help us do it, and it's very easy. So I'm a big believer in MOUs, although not every state treats it the same. Some states don't really give it importance, but I'm happy to say Florida does. And so I will pause for now. I think that's enough, and then wait for questions and wait for also Sarah.
Maybe before we introduce Sarah, maybe can you tell us a bit more what's happening on the ground? What do you see the MOU to have been able to facilitate on the ground?
So I can give you examples of things that we've done. For example, we have, the MOU. So to be clear, Florida market for the UK is still a new market. It's considered an emerging market because most of the trade ties between UK and the United States occur in the traditional poles, let's say California with all the Silicon Valley and all that, in the East Coast with New York, Boston, life sciences. That's a very big part of the trade pie. Now, since several years ago, Florida has begun rising, competing in that pie. Obviously, because a lot of things have changed in Florida, the economy is booming, and also now it is becoming sort of a southern political, cluster that's going to be very important in the new administration. So for example, through the MOU, we brought, to give you an example, 30 life science companies in, mostly med tech last year, to come to Florida. Select Florida helped us do this huge program where we visited 4 cities. Those 30 companies, some of them have decided to open a presence in Florida, and some of them came for, looking for funding. And these are the type of things that the MOU really brings across, which is that direct access, whereas to plan a trade, delegation takes a long time, a lot of resources, whereas we had this, direct access with the state. We asked the Secretary of Commerce, what we needed, and, it was immediately delivered from Florida side. And we've done this, with several sectors. We're now planning a big mission in the Space Coast, bringing 35 UK space companies to look for opportunities in the supply chain for L3 Harris and Blue Origin, which are 2 giant companies. So these are ways that through the MOU we can make these things happen. There is another side to that, which is the trade policy, which is also part of my responsibilities. So that means, you are identifying, trying to remove trade barriers that exist between the UK and Florida. There were two sort of barriers that we've been working on. One of them is in engineering. We have, the UK has been pushing to create it's called the MRA, Mutual Recognition Agreement of Professional Qualifications. Simply put, UK engineers and Florida engineers can work in both countries without having to look for, more certificates and more qualifications. So that's a mechanism that we were able to do in the MOU. It requires a statutory change in Florida, and the Florida authorities have been extremely helpful for us, helping make that happen. And so in March, when the legislative session opens, we will present our bill, and very likely those documents will pass, which means, it's a very big trade policy win that would not have been able to do without the MOU, because that requires state level work. And, that for us has been very important. The fact that we can have UK engineers just come to Florida and through the MOU, get established and not need additional qualifications. So that's another example.
Is there anything else you
Yeah.
can add in terms of kind of the way the MOU is helping move forward? What's happening there?
Well, in general, it's just that, the direct conversation between the UK and Florida authorities, the fact that we have, every time we hold these meetings, every 6 months, we have, the meetings sort of keep growing in importance. So we have now, for this one, we had, our deputy trade commissioner attend, and we had, members of the Ministry of Trade of the UK attend the meeting coming from London, which is something that previously you didn't really see, sort of, high-level senior officials from the UK be involved in state-level trade conversation. So this raises the level of interaction, and this is really helpful because this helps us sort of bridge that awareness gap, where, the Florida is a new player in the UK in terms of a destination, and this is a way to make people in the UK aware, not only officials, but we're talking about just going down to chambers of commerce, to entrepreneurs, making them aware that, you know, Florida is, you know, if you are thinking about going into the US market, you can look at for, you know, non-traditional markets such as, you know, and Florida is one of them. So by making sure, you know, raising the level of dialogue is one way that the MOU also helps.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
I'll invite Sarah in a few seconds. I wanted just, I guess, to summarize to show that the MOU is a good blueprint to start business. But it sounds from the last example you gave us that it's a fluid as well agreement that you can add onto it, you know, as and when the business has some specific need. And I'm sure our audience will have more questions, and I do have more questions, but I'll keep them for after. Thank you, Sarah, for being patient and for bearing with us while Gabby explained, I guess, the background of this trade corridor. Thank you for joining us, Sarah. You are the VP of International Channel Sales and Clinical Director for Christie Medical Holding, and I guess you are here today to really illustrate or bring it to life. What is it really that works or not in this trade corridor? You know, you've been taking a US company into the UK market. So please tell us, you know, your story from a personal perspective, because I think that's important as well for people to understand. It's not just a business coming to the UK, but there are people coming with the business. So we share a little bit about your experience, and then, you know, can we talk about the business side, and I will, you know, make it interactive and asking you some questions as well as you present.
Yes, of course. Well, first off, thanks for having me. I feel honored to be amongst these great female leaders. It's always nice to be surrounded by just great thought leaders and innovative and just lovely ladies. Yes, I work for a company called Christie Medical Holdings. It is based in Florida, and I'm their Vice President of Basic Globalization International Channel Partnerships. I hold a clinical role as well. It is a clinical technology company, and we are a medical device healthcare tech company. But basically, I would like to, exactly what you said, Veronique, I'd like to tell a story. I'm here to tell everybody a story of how Christie Medical established our entity here in the UK, take you through that journey. I'll take you through my own journey as the sole representative. That was my responsibility, is to establish the company here in the UK. I'm actually calling in, despite the accent, I am calling in from London. I live in London. I've been based here for about 6 years, originally from California though. So what I'll do now is let me just share my screen. So, like I was saying, let me get rid of some of these pop-ups here. There we go. So I basically, like I said, I want to take you on a journey. So I'd like to take you on a journey through the steps that Christie Medical took to establish our UK entity. And we used a very specific niche, and in my opinion, very comparatively speaking, very easy. We took a very easy pathway to open up an entity, a US entity, a Florida-based company with an entity here in the UK. And the way we did that was through the UK visa process. Excuse me, I'm getting over a little bit of a cold. So the UK offers several different visas for your employees to be here, and one of which was called the sole representative visa. And this has now been changed. So the Home Office, the Immigration Home Office, just changed some of their regulations around this visa, and they've even changed the name of it. So it's now called the UK Expansion Worker Visa, or the Global Business Mobility Visa. And what this does is that it allows you to bring over an employee from Florida, establish them in the UK with the sole responsibility of establishing and opening up basically a branch here in the United Kingdom. So the way that Christie did it, firstly, is we really had to look at our business plan. Now, Christie is a company that's around 16 years old, so we are not a startup. So the way, and we already have our products globalized. So we've got our products all over the planet. We're in about 110 countries. And one of those countries was the UK before we established our office here. So first and foremost, our first objective was to establish channel partners. So we used a company here in the UK, a distribution company, to distribute, market, and sell our medical devices into the UK healthcare economies. And we did that for about 7 years before deciding to set up our own entity here. And what that allowed us to do is, number one, it allowed us to anchor our products. So we started anchoring, like they are medical devices. So we were anchoring within the NHS, the blood services, sovereign healthcare lines. We were anchoring through our distribution partners. It also allowed us to really assess the viability of our product too. It gave us a good 6 to 7 year base that, is our product even viable? And do we want to continue down this road? Because setting up an entity in the UK, number one, it is an expense. It's effort, and it will take resources from your Florida-based company. So we were basically doing due diligence during this time, but we were doing it very conveniently through a partner company. We used a lovely, we still have them in our contract called Griner Bio One. They distribute our products, and they helped us with market surveillance as we did this process. Then within Christie in Florida, we decided, yes, you know what, let's establish an entity in the UK. We've got some really nice trade, really nice sales. Our distribution partner was making great headway within the healthcare services here in the UK. Our product went through some generational technology upgrades and changes. So we were ready to enter the market with a new generation of product and kind of establishing ourselves as our own entity here in the UK. So we chose what was called the sole representative, sole rep visa. And that was me. I came here on a sole rep visa. However, again, like I've said, that's completely changed. So if you happen to Google Global Business Mobility Visa, you might come up with these terms, sole rep visa as well. You can ignore that. That program, the program I'm here under the UK, no longer exists. They canceled it last summer, and now it's called this one, the Global Business Mobility. So there are some eligibility criteria for your company if you want to bring your company over here and establish an entity. But this type of visa is established for a senior manager or a senior specialist that's off the eligible job list. I'll get to that later, who are seconded from the US company to come to the UK with the sole purpose of establishing a UK trading branch. And the benefit is it's a fast track. So it's a fast track route for any one of your employees to come here, relocate to the UK, really start up your business, and it allows that individual to live and work here in the UK legally for up to 2 years. So I'm going to get into the nitty-gritty of it. And what you're seeing here is upon the advisement of my immigration lawyer teams, as well as resources I've pulled. And at the end of this presentation, I'm going to give you a list of practical people you can talk to here in the UK if this is something that sounds interesting to you. So there are some certain things your company is going to have, basically ducks in a row before you apply for this type of visa for your person to come here and establish your company. And that is, of course, you're going to need to have a comprehensive business plan. That's a given. That's why I say this route is a little bit, some of the criteria is quite easy. A lot of our companies, I mean, you already have these things. You'll have an established business plan. You need to outline, your business plan and strategy for entering what your strategy is in the UK, what your strategy is for entering in the UK, your financial projections, and you have to show evidence of overseas trading. So you need to show evidence you're already trading in Florida, in the US, before you can come here into the UK. You'll need to submit your company structure with defined clear roles, responsibilities, different types of ownership, shareholding, and so forth. You'll need to disclose your financial resources. Usually 3 years of financial evidence is needed for the Home Office. And then, of course, you'll need to comply with all the UK legal requirements, which can be very convoluted, including the company registration, your tax obligations, and their employment laws. But fear not. All of these things, if you're sitting there in Florida saying, well, this sounds great, we'd love to do this, but I have no idea what the employment laws are. I have no idea what my tax obligations are. This sounds very nebulous. I want you to fear not, because there are steps you can go through with the guidance of groups here in the UK that are specifically here as a resource for US-based companies. So there's a step-by-step process you will need to go through. I'm not going to get into the details because, again, I'm going to give you the resources at the end of this so you can do your own due diligence. But first and foremost, you'll need to apply for a company sponsor license before your person ever comes over here. And you have to use a UK third party, like an accounting firm. this firm or this third party doesn't have to have anything to do with the industry that you're in. It just has to be like an accounting firm that's based in the UK that can start this process for you. It's basically sponsoring your company, vetting your company, sponsoring your company to anchor you here in the UK. This is called their sponsorship management system. The application fee is very inexpensive, only about £1,500. And this license is quick. It only takes 8 weeks to be considered. And I'm going to give you a suggestion for 2 different third-party accounting firms that can do this for you. It's at the end of this presentation. Look them up, give them a call. Then number 2, you're actually going to establish your entity first before sending your person here to open up the branch, which sounds a bit weird, but establishing an entity is basically just registering with the UK government. It's called Companies House. You have to register your company with this government division, Companies House division. And basically that gives you a company number and like a registration number. It's very easy to do. That you can actually do online yourself if you wanted to. I don't recommend it, but you can. It's arduous, but it's not very dissimilar to when you registered your company in Florida. If any of you are here are entrepreneurs and you started your company as a startup and you registered it with the state of Florida and through the federal government in the US, you had to go through all of these steps, right? It's the same thing here. It's kind of like just what they do here in the UK. You will need to set up your PAY system, which is like a payroll system. You'll need to register your UK bank account and get liability insurance. All of this is done digitally. It's all done from the comfort of your own office in Florida. I highly recommend using a professional service to do this for you, a UK-based professional service. Again, I'm going to give you some suggestions of firms that can help you do it. The only reason being is personally, my personal journey, like I said, a lot of this criteria has recently changed. So when I was doing this 4 years ago, it ended up falling a lot on me. And I had only lived here for about 18 months. And I found myself registering with Companies House. I found myself trying to navigate this visa process without the help of using a professional service, only because that was my purpose of being here. So to be honest with you, we made mistakes. We figured it out. I'm online. I'm talking to services. I'm just telling you that there's like a much easier streamlined way of doing it than actually what Christy did it. Use a professional service. Then once all of these digital things are in order, you have your little Companies House number, which takes less than a month. You've got your PAYE, your bank account set up, liability insurance. All of these is as quick as you want to get it done, by the way. You could get all of that done within 4 weeks. It's just depends, that's your own timeline. Because all that, like I said, opening up a UK registered bank account is going to be through your bank in the Florida, opening up an account here. Easy. You could do that probably within a week. But again, that's going to be your timeline. Then you can apply for the visa for your sole representative, the employee that's going to be uprooting their life from Florida and trading it for the sunny shores of England. You can start their visa process. It has to be done while that employee is based in the US, and that employee must be a company executive. So there is a list of basically approved job titles, essentially who can go for this type of visa, but fear not. If you have a person that's high up in your organization, an executive, they will meet the job title criteria. There's a list of like 100. You don't have to worry about that. But it does need to be a company executive that is not the major shareholder of the company. So the person needs to be with the company at least 12 months prior to moving here with a salary of above £48,500. With a minimum, a minimum salary of £48,500, which will, if you have a company executive, they will more than adequately, I'm sure, reach that. If your employee earns more than £73,900, they can actually work for your company less than 12 months prior and be eligible for this visa. And usually the decision, once all of their paperwork is submitted to the immigration's office, it takes about 3 weeks. Then you'll get your visa approval. You can fly your new happy employee over here with their family as well. This also extends, of course, there's paperwork that has to be done through the home office, but this extends to their family as well. And then they are permitted to come here and have fun opening up your branch and exploring the next 2 years of establishing your company here in the UK. So it really, this type of visa offers a nice streamlined pathway for a Florida-based or any, to be honest with you, it's any US-based company to establish a presence in the UK that makes it a little bit quicker, easier, and I would say way less confusing, especially if you use the services. It's not as complex or overwhelming as it might seem to go overseas and start this entity. And, you know, with careful planning, you can overcome literally any hurdles and achieve your expansion to the UK. And it's really fun, I have to admit too, from a personal perspective. I mean, I personally wanted to live in London. So this has been a really fun journey for us. And for Christy, we have a fun portfolio of products. We've got, you know, really great teams here. We still sell through our partnerships as well here. So it's been a really great journey. And to conclude, I do want to leave you with this list of physical, tangible resources. So to get more information about this type of expansion worker visa, just go to the government website here. There is a service that I have used for the last 5 years for all of my visa journey, and a visa journey for an individual can sometimes be overwhelming as well. There's a lot of documents required. You don't want to have anything incorrect. I mean, they're doing a deep background check and so you don't want anything incorrect on your application. You need to use a service. Immigration lawyers can be very expensive, and you certainly can use a private immigration lawyer over here in the UK. I used a service called Visa Logic, and my visa team has been his name is Tom Baltrup. I put his phone number here for you, and I told him I was doing this webinar. He has been honestly the best visa Sherpa that I think I could ever have hoped for. Him and his team are phenomenal. They can help out with any type of visa, family, spouse, whatever, but he specifically knows in all the ins and outs of this type of visa, what's required, and he can even advise you on what your company might need to do in order to meet these criteria. If you would like the eligible occupation codes or more information on Companies House, there's a couple of websites here, and those accounting firms that specify in anchoring. Remember I said your company needs an anchor here. That's the first step in the process. There's a couple of accounting firms here that are recommended as well. Click them, call them up, and they'll be more than willing to help you. And with that, let me stop sharing my screen. I'll welcome any questions at the end. If anybody has any questions.
Thank you, Sarah. And maybe before opening to the Q&A, I wanted to ask a question maybe for Gabby and Alejandra, and I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but we heard, you know, from the US to the UK, this type of visa exists and facilitate the international trade and expansion. Could you, do you have some information about, is there an equivalent from UK to Florida, or can you just give us an indication of where people could find information if they want to move from the UK to Florida? Gabby or Alejandra, and if you don't have the answer, you know, we can find it out and then share after the webinar.
I don't know a lot about the visas, and everything is changing so much nowadays. But I know that there are investment visas where that you can come as an investor, and there are specific requirements that you need to meet or that your business need to meet, and a number of employees that they need to hire locally. So all that, I think all that varies depending on the industry. But if there's anyone that wants to know more, happy to put you in contact with immigration law firms here to provide more information.
Because I guess what's coming out is that there are different routes, you know, for you, Sarah, there was that type of visa. For other company, and both, I guess, on both way, depending, you know, what is it probably the company wants to achieve, maybe the duration of the people transfer, etc. So thank you for that. And before we open up to the Q&A, I need to rectify something I say at the beginning of the presentation. Alejandra, many apologies. I introduced you as a VP, but actually I've been informed quickly that you've been a president since November. So apologies for the misinterpretation on your role.
No worries.
But thank you so much for all the great work you do, for OWIT in Florida. I guess, Noreen, do you have access to the Q&A? Shall we look? Are there any question or anyone on this panel wants to bounce back from what has been said?
Yeah, I think the Q&A is still at the moment empty. I would be interested in hearing Gabby's take on Sarah's rather detailed and really interesting actual story of how you actually came here, because I think it actually made me think, if I am opening another company, I know you said we don't have it, but are there any government avenues which assist should UK businesses want to start JVs or have an office there or look towards moving in as new markets?
Yeah, sorry, I had to move and it's a little bit, might be a little noisy. Please let me know if it is.
Thank you.
So in the DBT, the Department of Business and Trade, is really a free service for anybody wanting either to come to the United States or vice versa, going to the UK. And there are a number of platforms we use. So let's say if, in Sarah's case, it's a business going to the UK. So what we normally do, and I'll give you the sort of the very nuts and bolts of it, usually, we are introduced to, let's say, X person wanting to open up in the UK. And so normally we have a first meeting with them. And in that meeting, usually I sit in the meeting, and then we have, depending on the sector, then that the sector expert also sits in the meeting, because obviously that person has more information than, even me, regarding like the details of what this, potential business is looking for in the UK. And then through there, we determine which would be the best way. It's a case-by-case basis, of course, but we, for example, have a platform called Expand Your Business, which is an online platform that you can do it even yourself. And that platform basically registers you into the system where the UK, the DBT in the UK pulls out your information, and you can have direct access to the services. For example, from these, information, like we do not do visa services, but we can give you all the information that you need. It can also, depending on the region that in the UK you're going to, it will put you in touch with those key people there. Like if it's, Midlands, or, it's Wales or Scotland, it will direct you. And it's not just one of those platforms that you register and never hear from anybody again. It's actually heavily monitored from our team in London. So you will be receiving responses between, 24 hours of your registration. That's one way we do it. Another way is, we have sector experts in the UK in our department, that depending on the size of the business going, depending on the nature, if it's, an investment, or if it's a expansion through mergers or acquisition, that's a separate department that we also help. Or if it's just an entrepreneur saying, okay, I want to sort of, open up or franchise or something. So we offer a whole series of help through, whatever way, but it's really a case-by-case basis. The best way to start is to sort of get in touch with us here in Miami, and then we go from there.
And can we look at the relationship between Select Florida and the DBT? For example, if you're an entrepreneur in the UK, wants to go to Florida, Alejandra, do you think the first point of contact is Select Florida here in London, in collaboration with DBT? What would be the best way to do that?
Correct, Veronique. That's the best way to start a relationship with Select Florida. So you reach out to our office in London, and then they will reach out to our team here that's in charge of international operations. And it's also a case by case meeting, or how it's addressed, depending on the industry and what you're seeking to, how you're seeking to establish here in Florida. Then Select Florida here in Florida will connect you with the right partners and counterparts.
And do
The
you have
head of the UK, oh, sorry
no,
about
go
it.
on, go on, Gabby, sorry.
No, I was just gonna add that the head of the UK office for Select Florida is also a woman. And we work very closely with her. Her name is Rhoda Campbell. She's great.
And
Yeah.
so sometimes, you know, when company wants to expand, the first thing they need to do is to understand the market. So do market research, finding about clients, you know, potential partners. What would be the best ways that, you know, Select Florida, you support with that type of activity? And maybe I'll bring Sarah as well. You know, how did you go about that? You had your partner, but if you had no partner, how would you have done it? So Alejandra, maybe first.
Yes, we definitely support with that kind of information, whether it's through our office in London, or here directly with our local team, and also gathering information from different local counterparts. It also depends. Sometimes you also want to know about counties. Sometimes companies have done enough research that they have already identified a specific county or area. And here within Florida, we also have EDOs, Economic Development Organizations, that work not only at a state level, but also at a county level. So we can also connect you with those EDOs that can provide you even more detailed information, more more narrowed information, refined information about the real estate or other data that could be relevant for your specific industry. So yeah, we're here to help in any way we can. Obviously, our objective as the principal state agency for economic development is to bring investment to the state, to contribute to the diversification of our economy, and create jobs.
Sarah, do you want to tell a bit more about your story? You know, as you talk about, you had your partner channel here, but what else have you been doing, you know, to expand the business here?
Well, I think firstly, you had asked, what if we hadn't had our partners? So I think there are many companies that a distribution model doesn't even work for their product or whatever they want to do over here, like banking, you wouldn't use a distributor, right? You can still use the pathway I just outlined and just cut out that first part. That first part is just what we did. But if you are in a different type of service or industry and that's not necessary, you can jump right into the pathway I just explained. Do your own due diligence, and then when the timing is right for your company, whatever sector, jump right in. The other thing earlier, I think there was something mentioned about basically an entrepreneur's or investor visa from going into the US. The UK also has that route as well. We didn't take it as a company, but I happen to know entrepreneurs from the US, not from Florida though, but I don't think it's state specific for the UK. It's the same thing. If you have your own business, if there's anybody here that has their own small business and you're thinking, well, it's just me and 5 people, or, you know, there are some criteria, like certain financial criterias, how much money is in your bank, how much trading you've done in the US, you can still come over here that way too. Completely different than what I just outlined, but I do know of it because I actually have some personal colleagues and friends who have done it that way for their own companies. And then what we've done as far as establishing our entity here is it's basically like a copy paste. So you just copy paste, you know, what you're doing, what works, what doesn't work. You've come over here into the UK, you start trading, you bring up your employees, you hire on employees, you hire local, you provide local jobs as well through, you know, your HR and payroll and your sales staff and your marketing and whatever your teams are, you're going to locally source them here. you'll grab an office, you'll establish some type of an office, and you have 24 months to do that under this particular route that I laid out.
Great.
But I don't think sharing our personal examples of Christie is relevant, because like I said, we did it on this old grandfather way in.
Yeah.
So some of these criteria, Christie actually doesn't have, but because we were grandfathered in through this old way. So that's why if I say, okay, yes, we have the entity here, we're trading, and we're also trading through our partners, it would make it a bit confusing, only because we get to benefit from what they used to do. That's
Yeah.
not the case as of last summer. So what I've laid out in my presentation from now is what you would have to do moving forward.
Yeah, and I guess it's, as you say, it's really important to stay up to date with the legislation, the changes, and maybe if you got some expert to help you, that's as well add to the mix. Noreen, any question, anything in the chat, in the Q&A?
There are, yes.
Okay.
We have a comment from Fungi, who is one of our OWTUK VPs and also a member there, and she says, for US businesses set up, it's usually the investor visa. That I believe that was a route they used, but investors need to be aware of taxation and legal requirements, which may be a comment we can pick up maybe further on. I'm just going to read them through, and then I think we'll just see how we answer. There was a question from Jenny Samour, where she said that recently there was a great event with USF Tampa with UK Consul General Drabble and Honorary Consul Justin Asal. It was mentioned that UK is one of the largest investors in Florida. Is there any data numbers you can share on trade between Florida and UK to enforce the value of interest along with target industry aware health sciences as one of them? I think that Gabby, you had mentioned a bit of this. Maybe you want to pick that up as well. We had another query from Lucia, who is from one of our OWIT Uganda members, and she is actually interested if it's possible to get in products from the OWIT Uganda members in Florida and UK. And we have an anonymous query about, is there any market research or any foresight on future trade and investment opportunities? And also another comment for Gabby, where you mentioned the 3 pillars: space, finance, and lifestyle. No, I thought that was life science.
Science.
Yeah. Can you define what it is, what they include, and would you help a company that is outside those 3 pillars? So I think, I don't know how you'd like to tackle them.
Okay, so I can do both the life science and the other space. 3-pillar questions. For the life sciences, was that question specifically wanting trade data? Is that like more specific trade data on that? Because we have documents that I can put in the chat or send by email. I mean, they're sort of, very kind of detailed. So I think it's probably information that would best be sent through a document. Although that I do want to say something about the reception that the person was referring to. Part of our work is also reaching out to the chambers of commerce. These are important, allies for us. And in Florida, we work very closely with the British American Business Council. We host event together. They refer people to us and vice versa. And we just opened there's a Miami chapter, and we just launched the Tampa Orlando chapter. So that's the event that the person was referring to. And that chapter is going to cover Central Florida, that region, both Orlando and Tampa. And it's a wonderful, amazing ally we have there. Another woman, Justina Saul, her background is in law. So this is helpful as well for a lot of the business questions that we've been talking about, specifically visas and all that. And she's sitting, there helping us, just basically kind of gain ground in both Tampa and Orlando. So if I could post those life science stats I have to look them up, but I can post them in the chat. And then for the 3 pillars, even though those 3 sectors, space, fintech, and life sciences, are our main sort of focus. We do work with other sectors, for example, clean energy, infrastructure, advanced manufacturing, which is a rising sector in Florida. You know, so any of those sectors that, you know, we definitely do not place a limit on our work just on the three. It's just those three are the ones that we're sort of streamlining through the MOU, but certainly we devote our attention to all of them. So yes. I also wanted to add that I'm on LinkedIn, so probably the best way, unless you, I think the emails will be passed out, but please feel free to DM me on LinkedIn. A lot of people do, and it's just sometimes easier. So it's Gabby Bonetti, UK.
And Gabby, talking about the sector, do you see a trend in, I mean, you've got your three pillar, but you know, obviously the business is moving and changing. Are you seeing any new trend in terms of new sector, new technology use?
I think that for the UK, for example, the one of the emerging trends here in Florida is medtech. I think that the UK has a lot of competitive advantage that they could, you know, that they can bring into the state, because the state right now is sort of experiencing a life science boom. This is due to many reasons. I mean, it's the post-COVID boom as well, but also the state, you know, as you know, is one of the, if not the principal sort of elder economies in the United States, where you have, you know, the most retirees, and that spurs a whole amount, you know, of research and work with academic institutions. So Florida is sort of a great market for anything life science, but I do see medtech rising. I see a lot of startups coming to Florida, so UK companies that want to enter the UK market, but find that California or the East Coast is a bit saturated and expensive. They're choosing to come here, and not really Miami. They're going to Tampa, they're going to Jacksonville, they're going sort of in Florida, but elsewhere, which, you know, and as Ale mentioned, they are more and more getting support from these EDOs. These are really important engines, local engines. So if you want to even go more local, we work closely with these EDOs, Orlando, Tampa, Jacksonville. I mean, they're great organizations. They basically, you come in with the questions, and they have, you know, they connect you in that city with whatever it is that you want to do. And another sector that we're seeing, which is a trend, is space. As you know, the US is undergoing a space renaissance. Certainly we can see that in Florida. It's, you know, the two sort of emerging clusters are Texas and Florida. And Florida has received huge federal, you know, funds to develop the Space Coast even further. And then you have the big companies, not only here, but expanding right now. So I see a lot of potential collaboration between the UK space agencies and Florida. And one of the, you know, in February 11th, we're hosting a big UK event in the Kennedy Space Center. With, you know, we're going to be convening all state officials related to space, like Space Florida. We have the UK Space Agency coming down to Florida for meetings. We have those 35 companies. So it's kind of the best timing right now. And that this is, again, thanks to, you know, the MOU. It all goes back to that. So I think I went a little long, but
No, thank you.
hopefully I answered.
Very insightful. Noreen, do you want to moderate the theme of the questions and see who
Yes,
can
I mean,
answer?
Gabby, I wish I was in Florida. I'd be there. I'm a space cadet, and that sounds
Oh.
absolutely fantastic. There is actually another comment coming from Jenny saying Justin Amal is an amazing woman, and it's a great asset to the international business community, and they're excited about the opportunity in Central Florida, Tampa Bay. I think that's definitely goes without saying. Those were the comments we have. I think it's worth asking Alejandra and Sarah if they want to share their thoughts on some of the questions, and I can repeat them if necessary.
Oh, so Noreen, let me answer the question about Uganda. So Select Florida focuses when it's inbound related, focuses more on the foreign direct investment side of things. But regarding that specific question, we do have a county based organizations going back to the EDOs like the Miami-Dade International Trade Consortium that really handles inbound and outbound import-export relationships. So happy to also connect your contact from all with Uganda with someone here locally that can give them more direction as to how that could work when it comes to bringing those products into Florida. And then just to go, I wanted to share a little bit more how my side of the house works. So although Select Florida has two main lines of work, which is inbound, everything that's FDI related, and how we help foreign companies establish in Florida and help them with their investments here. I work specifically in the outbound side of things, so helping Florida companies, and we specifically help small and medium-sized companies, manufacturers and service providers explore new markets, expand their sales overseas, providing a very dedicated, very tailored assistance. So although there are, like Gabby mentioned, and the MOU also mentions, there are specific industries that are being streamlined. We focus on helping again, manufacturers and service providers. And what we do whenever they're interested in the UK market is that we facilitate a connection with our UK office to gather more intel. Or sometimes where we don't have offices, we normally work with the U.S. Commercial Service. For those that are not familiar with the U.S. Commercial Service, it's the international branch of the U.S. Department of Commerce. So this is federal level now, not state. And these are natural partners wherever we go. And normally when we put together trade missions or other events overseas, we work with them because their objective, their mission is to help U.S. companies and U.S. products to be showcased and export. Help with U.S. exports, and also with a focus on small and medium businesses. So we facilitate a connection, whether it is with our international offices, wherever we have one, being this the case with UK, or the US Commercial Service in a specific market. We help them gather intel and assess whether this market whether their product or service has potential in that specific market. We assess the competition, other factors that can affect or propel their potential. And after that assessment, and by the way, this has no cost to the company. And let me just paddle back a little bit. As long as as the company and the product meets the 51% US content or Florida content, then the company is eligible to work, or is eligible to have these services. So once we have that, we've made that assessment, and if we determine that there's potential in that market, then we move forward with a recommended service that will vary depending on the level of maturity of the company, of what they're looking in that specific market, how they're seeking to establish, if it's a joint venture, if it's looking for a distributor, a representative. So we recommend next steps, and then we start working together with our counterpart, whether it's the international office, Select Florida International Office, or the post as the U.S. Commercial Service denominator offices that are homed in the different embassies. So that's how this side of the house where I'm at work, and for those Florida companies that are that have connected today, if you have any interest in exploring the UK market, please feel free to reach out. I'm also on LinkedIn, Alejandra Henao, and you can look me up, or if anyone can share my email, then happy to start a connection there. Thank you.
And if I can just add, Alejandra, our company, Christie, we've used the Department of Commerce over and over and over again as we've expanded across the world. It certainly applies here to the UK, but we've used those services exponentially in regions that we don't have an entity. So for instance, in Japan, we don't have offices in Japan. We don't have a director of like the APAC region. So we really needed good market intelligence. We needed good competitive intelligence. We needed the structure on how products were sold specifically in life sciences, medical device. And we've used these services in various countries, and it has been, and like Alejandra was saying, for those of you who might be interested in the service, these services are at no cost to your company. And then depending on how deep of a level, because you could do things pretty surface, market intelligence, competitive intelligence, you know, this is all at no cost. They're really to expand US business interests and grow the US economies globally. That's what they do, and they're good at it. And they're located in the country. So like in Japan, our contact for the US Department of Commerce works in the US Embassy in Tokyo. And so he knows everything. He's been doing this for years, and he knows everything about everything. And the part of the responsibility too is to vet companies, credit check companies. Like we used it for distributor finding. They already had credit checks on these distributors. They already know how much growth, how much sales their revenues are doing in Japan. So it's a really good, I just wanted to put a plug in for what Alejandra was talking about. It is, like I said, no cost. And then if you do want to take it deeper for very nominal fees, like we're talking a few hundred quid, like a few $100s, to go deeper, depending on how much you want to use their services, because they can do events. They can help you run events in Japan. If you want to do an event at the US Embassy, they will help you arrange an event with companies to come meet your company from the US. So they can arrange it big or small. Anyway, I just want to also put a plug as a user. For years, we've been using that service. And honestly, the first day that we learned about it about 3 years ago, I thought to myself, why have we not been using this service before? We just didn't know about it. But as soon as we found out about it, it's been like our little golden ticket in our back pocket.
Yeah, no, they're pretty awesome. Thank you, Sarah, for adding to my comment. And we work with them wherever we go. Whenever we don't have an office, like in the case of the UK, which our representatives in London will provide the same kind of service as well to our companies. And also, Sarah, and this is how we met. Sarah has also been a Select Florida, Christie Holdings, a user of Select Florida services. I know you guys have participated as exhibitors in some of the pavilions that we've had. So Select Florida has Florida pavilions within the US pavilions in some of these in very popular, well-known life sciences events, such as Arab Health in Dubai or Medica in Germany, Hospitalar in Brazil. So we have a program where we help Florida companies, we help them with their exhibiting cost to offset that cost, which can be expensive, especially for smaller companies. And we have a grant that's devoted to help offset that cost. I'm not sure if you guys have been only part of the pavilion or have used the grants, but I know that you have also been a client of ours, and this is how I got to meet Sarah, and through my boss who leads the life sciences sector. So I hope you had a great experience and that this helped you with your expansion in the UK.
Great. I think we got some question. I'm going to
Right,
read one.
we do have another question, which is, I think it's a bit of the elephant in the room at the moment. And we also have a light-hearted one. So I'm going to throw the elephant in the room open for comments. Tariffs and barriers to international trade with the new administration. How does that work? What impact are we going to potentially be looking at, or are you trying to achieve? And what is your take at state level? And then on a slightly lighter note, Florida is in the path of several hurricanes. What would you say to someone who's concerned about this aspect when settling in Florida? Open to debate.
Well, regarding the first question, right now it's a bit uncertain to know when it comes to tariffs, but we haven't seen or we haven't been informed of any changes with regards to bilateral trade with the UK. And Gabi, please feel free here to complement. And regarding hurricanes, yes, that's something that it's unavoidable, and I think that we are getting every time better and better prepared to mitigate the outcomes, the aftermath, and also preventing. So when it comes to that, we can also, as Select Florida, we can also provide additional information to be more prepared and to take all the necessary measures to prevent and mitigate any potential damage or from these hurricanes. And but I don't like Gabi mentioned. I mean, we have a lot of companies and startups moving here. I don't think that, although it's something that it's there. It's
I think
something,
it's just of life, isn't it? But we can't really do much about it.
yeah, that we can do much about it. I think that the business community is not as concerned, and we still have a lot of companies moving here, a lot of businesses moving here, families moving here. So I wouldn't be discouraged a lot regarding hurricanes, but see all the other opportunities that the state has to offer.
I think that's a very good answer. Sorry, Gabby, please do come in.
Oh, sorry. No, I was just, I was going to add, that hurricanes look worse on TV than they are. I mean, not saying that they're not, but the media is just, they have to sell news, so it becomes this spectacle. I mean, they and have been, very taxing to the state and to the people, but I've never really seen it as a main concern of an entrepreneur coming down to Florida. It's the state has excellent response, which is all you can hope. So that's I wouldn't call it a main concern. And as far as tariffs go, obviously everybody's waiting and seeing what will happen. Certainly in terms of state level work, I don't anticipate much change. We have always, and even when the MOU was signed, we had a Republican governor at the head, and we have seen absolutely no change in that direction, even after the UK had a change of government this summer. On the contrary, if I would say that business is above politics in Florida, that's the sort of the main line, and we have had great help and support from the administration. So on the state level, I don't anticipate worries. On the federal level, that's I don't handle that part, but I can say that everybody's sort of in the same of wait and see attitude for that.
Great.
Thank you, Gabby. Veronique.
I was going to say, I don't think there's more question in the chat, and I don't think we don't need to hold on to everybody until 5:30. So maybe final word from Sarah, and then I'll do a quick tour of the panel, and then we can close the webinar.
My final word is, if anything that I've said this evening resonates, I'm also on LinkedIn as well. And then I'm more than happy to share this presentation with all the resources at the back. I cannot recommend the resources on my last slide. I cannot recommend them more. Personally, like, just great people to work with. So those are my final comments. Just thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
And my next order of business will be to join OWIT UK.
Oh, that's
On my
a
list.
great.
Yeah.
We'll keep you to that, Sarah.
Gabby, final word from your side.
Sorry, I have to unmute. So, well, first of all, thank you so much for having me today. It was a pleasure to join the ladies. And I think that, I will sort of plant the flag of the Department of Business and Trade and encourage you to use it as a resource if you're looking to expand your business to the UK or to Florida. We have an army of people ready to help, and we're very excited. Thank you.
Thank you, Alejandra.
Thank you, Sarah and Gabby, for your time today, for sharing all your knowledge and all these updates. It's truly an honor to be here with you. And thank you, Noreen and Veronique, for the invitation to put together this event. I'm very, very excited, and I'm new in my role, so I'm looking forward for this to be the first of many events that we do together. And just to close, if anyone in Florida or in the UK need assistance from Select Florida, if you think that Select Florida can be a resource for you to learn more about how to work with Florida or from Florida, please reach out. Just like Gabby said, we also have a team here that is ready to help you in the best way. And this is what we're here for. So please make sure to reach out so we can help you. Thank you.
Thank you. I want to say thank you to everyone, for being here. Without you, we would not have had this webinar. I think from my perspective, it was very insightful, very practical. And I think, hopefully we gave enough tips, information, and through the passion, for everybody, we have inspired maybe entrepreneur to come to Florida or the UK, or make sure their expansion plan include both of these countries and states. Noreen, do you want to close the webinar as the president here in London?
Thank you very much. And I would like to say and echo all the words. Thank you for a fantastic session. I really now am intrigued about Florida and the opportunities there. It's definitely something to look out for. Sarah, we're going to keep you up on it, and we hope to see you at OWIT UK events. And Alejandra, thank you very much for this wonderful opportunity. We'll be doing more of this. Gabby, your insights are great, and I'm sure we'll be directing people to women entrepreneurs to your area. I want to take the opportunity to thank Veronique for her very masterful moderation. She has prepared for this and set it up together with the other programming team here in the UK. I need to mention Elena Molinari, who unfortunately could not be with us today, and also Elizabeth Spry, who's been helping to put this together. So thank you very much from OWIT UK to Veronique, to Elena, and to Elizabeth. This is not the end of our series. It carries on. We will be doing a tour of the OWIT chapters because we want to explore more opportunities. So we shall keep you informed. Please do look out for our updates, which are on our website and also on social media. And I think, Veronique, we can actually now bring this to a close. So thank you, everybody. Have a good day wherever you are, and we shall see you soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.